welcome in. It's interesting to see your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling. No clip for you this morning. I do have clips in the show today, and I, with all of my effort, am on YouTube. You can watch the show every day on the tube. You can also watch on Spotify. It'll be available there. I think if you turn your screen the right way, it'll be there. I don't know. Maybe I should start editing this a little bit more precisely. Whatever. Daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling. Today, we're going to do an NFL season gambling preview. Tomorrow, we are going to do more NFL stuff. But don't worry, we have other shit to talk about. If you like the show, and I can tell after my little hiatus, there's a lot of you here that I haven't met before. So thanks for hanging out. Tell your friends. Go to Apple. Give me a 5-star rating. That helps a lot. It helps more than literally anything else other than listening. Okay, let's start with non-football, then we'll get to football. First of all, RIP the U.S. Open, RIP Australian sports. Nick Kyrgios had himself a meltdown. He lost to someone named Karen, but that's a common Eastern European name. Nick Kyrgios, for those of you that don't know, is the bad boy of tennis. When he was a teenager, he was just an utter douche, and he's a grown-up douche now. The problem that him being a grown-up douche now is that he's very, very good at tennis, and he could easily be the second or third best player in the world if he just had the discipline to relax and whatnot. It's probably very frustrating for his fans, but back in the day, he used to just be like I said, like a tool, like a kid. Now he's that way, but he's much better, and also he has a lot of good points. So he calls people out for stuff. He's very much like, what if someone with an NBA or NFL personality played tennis? It's pretty sweet. But he lost yesterday, which means for the U.S. Open, the tennis tournament in New York, no one cares anymore because he's not the only one. So Serena lost. Remember when I said, we're caring about this really early, it's an upset, but what's going to happen? Well, she lost immediately. And then Coco Gauff, who is an American that people think might take over for her on the women's side, she lost on the same day that Nick Kyrgios lost, and now no one cares. There's nothing interesting left about the U.S. Open. He did, of course, smash his racket, as he is wont to do. We'll bring that up right here for you. Wait. Look at him. This is in the doubles. Doubles, do people care about doubles, or is it just for fun? Because it seems like it's just I don't care about the point. So here's what he does. Throws it into the stands. He just tosses it, and look at him. So you do that kind of shit at other tournaments like in France and Australia, and the crowd is very much like, bro, you need to chill. But the U.S. Open of the four majors, which is Australia, France, Wimbledon, which is in the U.K., and then the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is the one that's kind of like a concert. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a little bit more ruckus. The Wimbledon is the most proper, and Australia and France are very proud of the situation that they've set up. All of them are unique. Australia's the first one. I think Australia's in February, I want to say. It's pretty early. Yeah. So Nick Kyrgios, he gets bounced. Bye, bud. It sucks to suck. Other things we want to get into, let's bring up Brian Kelly. At a press conference, he called a reporter out for being late, and she clapped back immediately.
This late arriving media crowd that must have enjoyed the weekend. That's usually $10 that we put in the kitty. We'll have a big bash at the end of the year at my place. I don't think it has anything to do with.
She said, maybe if you win, I'll be on time. Oh, they're going to hate him, but they're going to be good. If they just shut the fuck up and relax, they're going to be good because he is good at recruiting. And he knows what wins football games. Other stuff, AP poll for college football came out. Winning is good. Losing is bad. Okay, Utah falls from 7 to 13, which is where they belong. That's more like it. But Florida, by beating Utah, they moved to 12. Oklahoma State is ranked. Shouts to Wisconsin, North Carolina State, Wake Forest, and Ole Miss, all of whom won, and Houston, actually, all of whom won and went down. Notre Dame dropped 3 spots after their win. Clemson also dropped down below Michigan because DJ Uiagalelei looked like garbage. USC somehow, though, with their win, they jumped 4 spots, and now they're in the top 10 to replace Utah in the top 10. So they were all interested. Oregon drops out of the top 25. They looked like they're not ready to be with the big boys. Baseball yesterday had some controversy. There's an epidemic of dudes in the crowd taking balls that are thrown to children and keeping them for themselves. So there's like little girls and they're in their uniforms, and this guy's like, mine. Every single time there's a story about baseball, it is a bad story. It is a bad, okay. I'm starting to realize that the grown men, white men, are the problem with baseball, which I hear that coming out of my mouth, and I'm already annoyed. But it is like that guy had a glove, and he just took it from these children. Like you can see it, it's right there on your screen. If you're listening on Spotify, you can look at it. Like he just comes over. Like here it is. Like he is literally not in the frame. And then he pops, I'll take that, thank you. And he knew he was going to get it. He relaxed. He just like took this from this little girl. I will say that having a glove at a stadium, depending on where you sit, makes sense. If you have one, it's self-defense if you know how to use it. Because you can die from baseball injuries. But wow, like in the outfield, he's got a jersey and he brought his mitt to a late season game at which like no one's there. Yeah, so that's happening. It happened twice. It happened, I don't know what game this is in, but it also happened in the Cubs game. Literally same thing. Throwing it to a little kid, grown man goes over there and takes it. Just catches it. Ay. We're almost over baseball. It's almost playoff time. Okay, this is going to be a gambling thing. I want to do a season-long gambling preview and just give you some takes and things to look at. And then tomorrow we'll do the Bills and Chiefs, or Bills and Rams. And I'm also going to give you my NFL podcast that you should listen to, depending on your level of fandom and what you kind of like to podcast, what your podcast situation is. Because if you listen to this, then sports podcast makes sense for you, and they're great to have on the background and whatever. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I should have been doing that. I should blog about it, actually. I should rank them. I should do that, but I'm not going to do that right now. Instead, let's look at some things I have open. I'm going to go through the bets I actually have placed. So the first thing that I like, I love the Jags this year. I think that they're going to make the playoffs. I have them to make the playoffs. I also have Trevor Lawrence and these, I haven't placed any of these. I'm just giving you some bets. I guess we can start with college football. Here's the bet slip. It's on the screen. Stetson Bennett IV went from, I don't know what he was, to plus 2,000 to win the Heisman. I definitely think he's going to win the Heisman. I don't think that they're going to be challenged. I don't think anyone's going to stop that offense. They have such good recruits. He's such a cool story. He's back again. You could also, at FanDuel, get Anthony Richardson, the dynamic quarterback for Florida, to go first overall. I do think he's going first overall. I'm about 33% sure it's between him and two other guys. But plus 1,400, you're not going to get that. It's going to go way down and way down and way down. Okay. Player props. Rashawn Gary, the interior defensive tackle / DN for the Packers, over 9.5 sacks. That defense is absolutely filthy. The NFC North plays the AFC East and someone else that sucks. The AFC East and the NFC East. So other than the Bills and kind of the Eagles, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for sacks there. People are hurt all over the place. They play the Lions. The Lions have a good offensive line, but they play the Bears twice. Gary could have 5 sacks against the Bears. I love that. Similarly, in the NFC North, and with the same thinking, because they have that easy schedule, DeAndre Swift's over-under for total yards is 1,350. I love that. Even if he misses 4 games from injury, he's such a good weapon out of the backfield. He could have 70 to 80 yards a game, and that is about the clip you need to get to 1,350. He can get there pretty easily. The player prop that I love the most is Saquon Barkley over under 90 or 900.5. So they think he's going to have 900 yards pretty much exactly. He's going to smash this. The Giants suck, but they don't suck as bad as they have previously sucked. They suck, but they don't have any receivers. And they have a quarterback who can't really throw. And he apparently has a chip on his shoulder, and he's pissed off. The last time he was pissed off and actually motivated to actually run the ball was when he was a freshman and a sophomore at Penn State. And he took spots from guys that were 4- and 5-star recruits, like Miles Sanders. He just took their spot. He is back to that mentality of being like a dude. He got famous. He got a little cocky. He got hurt real bad. He's back. Okay, so I like Barkley over. And here's the thing. I have all of these overs. And aside, if you're just going to bet blindly and you have no idea what's going on and the goal is to make a little money, just bet all unders. Just bet the unders. Like the unders hit at like a 60% clip. You can just guess. Remember, like all of these, for the most part, everyone's still in wishful thinking mode. Vegas knows that. Everybody wants to bet overs. I want to bet overs, so I found the overs that I like. I like all the unders. Every single under is a good under. All of them, every time, no matter what. You're just more likely to hit it. The Giants, not only are they going to run the ball, but they don't have any receivers, like I mentioned. Juice matters, and that means how much money you get paid out. It's plus 2,000 for Wan'Dale Robinson to lead rookie receivers in yards. So there are some good rookie receivers, of course. You got George Pickens with the Steelers, who looks like he's going to have a good year. Chris Olave could lead the Saints. It looks like Michael Thomas is going to play, but Chris Olave, the Ohio State rookie, could lead the Saints. A bunch of guys. Wan'Dale Robinson is kind of the only option for the Giants. I think he's going to lead receiving yards for rookies in the NFL. If for no other reason, then someone has to. Cortland Sutton, I have him plus 4,000, right? 400 to 1 odds to lead the NFL in receiving yards. Russell Wilson throws deep. He's the best receiver on the Broncos. They have a good defense, so they're going to have a lot of cracks at it. I love that bet. Jacksonville Jaguars to make the playoffs. Detroit Lions to make the playoffs. They're both plus 400. Jags are plus 450. Lions are plus 410. I think they're both going to make the playoffs. I've been on that take all year. I think the Jags are going to win the division. That bet is plus 750 if you can find it. The under win total I like are the Giants. They're not going to win a lot of games. Someone's going to lose the games on the easy schedule. Everyone is banking on the Bears to suck. They are the team in this schedule in the NFC North and the NFC East where people are like, well, that'll be a win. It's plus 125 for the Bears to be under 5.5 wins, which is a low win total. Them and the Texans, people think are going to be the worst team in professional football. The bet that everybody loves are the Lions over 6.5. It's a reasonable number. They play 17 games now. You got the Bears twice, the Jaguars, the Jets, the Giants, like a lot of winnable games on that. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, which are player things that I really like, Malcolm Rodriguez, the Lions middle linebacker, is going to start. Middle linebackers get tackles, which is a baseline stat. And to win Rookie of the Year, you got to get tackles. He's also already famous, so pay attention to him. The other two guys I like, and you'll need to pay attention to these guys because no one's talking about them except for me. Sam Williams is a rookie defensive end who was drafted from Ole Miss in the second or third round by the Cowboys. He's going to be opposite DeMarcus Lawrence, who is awesome. He's also on a good defense and a good defensive line, and he's going to start. He's going to have opportunities. He plays for the Cowboys. Defensive Rookie of the Year is all about stats and fame. So I got Malcolm Rodriguez, who everyone already knows about. The majority of these awards go to people that get sacks and interceptions, mostly sacks. George Karlaftis, the rookie from Purdue. He plays for the Chiefs across from Chris Jones, one of the best defensive tackles in all of pro football. So George Karlaftis and Sam Williams are going to have opportunity. They're going to be in prime time, and someone else on their team is much better than they are, which means that their opponents aren't going to key on them. Why that's important is Aiden Hutchinson is the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year more than any player is to win anything because he's so famous. Also, he's white. That matters. You know, it is what it is. Maybe we'll live in a world where that's not true, but it is. He also went to Michigan. All of the voters love that crap. And he's going to be famous. The problem is that they don't have anyone. They have a couple guys that are pretty good, but they don't have anyone at the same level as, they say, Chris Jones. So I love that. I have Trevor Lawrence to win regular season MVP. That's plus 7,500, 750 to 1. Saquon Barkley, comeback player of the year, defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. I think people are just going to be like, we forget how good Aaron Donald was. Yeah, you do. Everybody does. Everybody forgets how good Aaron Donald is, but he's really freaking good. So I like him. That's my season props, things to think about. I don't do enough gambling on the show. We did sports, did some gambling. I am on the Jags and the Lions this year to exceed expectations. I am on the Colts. I think the Colts are they're going to be a dumpster fire. That's the team I would fade. I also think the Rams are just hanging on. Like, they had a lot of injury luck. I think the Rams might be not for real. Also, we're going to talk about games tomorrow. The NFL season is here tomorrow. And there's a weird, funny, fishy line. Bills are favored on the road against the Super Bowl champs. That's weird. The Rams never lose those games. And we're talking about NFL podcasts. And if there's news, we'll talk about news. And on Friday, we'll be back in the swing of this. Reviewing Thursday Night Football. Previewing college football. An incredibly boring week 2, of course. But that's good because it's pro football weekend. Back and better than ever tomorrow.